I'll make it up as we go along.
Yeah, it already started.
No.
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 Oh,
No.
my eyes. All right. So,
Welcome
to
the
Cheesy
podcast.
Yay!
Yay! We win.
All right, so this is a new thing we're going to be doing. It's here on our channel, Cheesy Reviews. And we've been meaning to do this for a while.
We have?
A podcast, yes.
I thought we just pulled this out of our ass just now.
We did not. They don't know that. Yeah. So, we've been meaning to do this for a while, aka about 1 hour. So we decided to come home and do this. So welcome, you are the first listener for the first
Unless you're not the
podcast.
first. Unless you're not the first listener.
All right, let's just get on with it. Okay, so we are here to review The Last Airbender by M. Night Shyamalan.
Probably the best movie of all time ever made.
I mean, this was so on par with, Titanic.
It was on par with Gone with the Wind. It was that good.
I mean, I've never seen so much,
Passion.
pure direct, exactly, passion. Some really amazing stuff. Except there was just this one part in the movie, and the one part that was bad lasted about the whole movie.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, probably the worst movie I've ever seen. Not as bad as Dragon Ball Evolution, but definitely.
Well, that's questionable. I mean, if you didn't know going into Dragon Ball Evolution that they completely annihilated the story, it could have been the worst movie of all time. But the problem was, you knew going into Dragon Ball Evolution that it was going to be bad. With The Last Airbender, the trailers gave you hope that it was going to be good, because we thought it was going to stay true to the source material. To a lesser extent, to an extent, it was, but for most of the movie, it really wasn't. Yeah,
I know. I was saying to you before, I think the movie really, really could have been good. And what bugged me the most was that the movie really had so much potential. And I think the thing that sucked, I was never able to be immersed in the movie. There was at least something every single minute out of that movie that just sucked. And for example, the pronunciation of names like Ung, Iro, the Avatar,
Sokka,
Sokka and Zhao's acting. Oh my god, it was Ozai's eyebrows, they were like uneven. That really, really bugged me. There were just so many bad things from that movie, and you could see, we know that M. Night cut out a lot. You could see the parts that were just cut out, and some of the dialogue was just so choppy.
Some of the dialogue.
Oh yeah,
all of the dialogue was choppy.
Dialogue was choppy, and you could even tell it wasn't the actor's fault. That was all falling down on the director.
Honestly, some of it can be blamed on the actors,
like
but
Zhao
you can't.
And Sokka.
Exactly. But you can't blame it all on the actors. Considering what they had to work with, it wasn't a whole lot.
I think some of the things I really actually did like, one, General Iro, and yes, I will call him Iro because he's not Iro. Even though, he looks very different. He stole the movie for me.
I don't know.
I think his acting was the best. I wish he would have been in it more. Zuko was hardly in the movie.
well, for what little of the movie Zuko was in, Dev Patel did a good job of portraying Zuko.
Yeah, I think he did a pretty good job, except for the little rape scene with the little boy.
The Zutara rape scene.
And the Zutara rape scene. That was scary. But
this is PG now, Shyamalan. Take it back a couple notches.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think those two did a great job together. Another thing that held me back, there was no character development in that movie.
Wait, whoa. It's like, as Shyamalan was writing the script, he was like, character development? What's that? I've never heard of such a thing.
He just basically, he was making the ingredients of the movie. He took character development, particularly just shoved it up his ass and then shit it out again. I really don't know what this guy's thinking when he's making this movie. What I want to know is, as they're making this movie, how did they look at this movie and go, wonderful, I love it. And, what the hell were they thinking? And, they had Frank Marshall. They had a couple of good producers on this movie. I don't see how they could have ever
Frank Marshall? I've never heard of Frank Marshall.
Yeah. You suck then.
All right, true.
No. There were just so many bad things with this movie. I don't understand how they could have watched this and thought, wow, this is going to make a great movie. Some of that dialogue...
No, they looked at the series and they thought, wow, this is going to make a great movie. And
Exactly,
it could have. It could have made a great movie.
Yeah.
But then the problem was they handed the movie over to M. Night Shyamalan.
Well, M. Night Shyamalan, let's remember that he was the one that wanted to make the movie. He was the one that approached the Nickelodeon executives and said, I want to make this movie. And they let him. That was a mistake. That was absolutely
mistake. No, that was mistake number one. Mistake number two was everything else.
Yeah. M. Night's biggest problem is he exists.
when he doesn't have a twist, he doesn't know what to do.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I was reading something, and someone was like, you know, I'm waiting for at the end of the movie for it to be like, there's another Airbender.
No. It turns out it was all a dream, and Aang was actually Captain Planet.
Exactly. Wonderful. And there was
what
this
a
bullshit
twist
in the movie about the Avatar is not, or no, excuse me, the Avatar is not meant to hurt people. What the hell do you mean the Avatar is not meant to hurt people? Of course he is.
And
that's how he maintains balance.
Speaking of the ending, it was like the pinnacle of anticlimactic endings.
Let's not ruin it in terms. You know what? Yeah, let's ruin it.
Yeah.
All right. So if you haven't seen the movie, yes, this is a spoiler alert.
But don't see this movie. Don't see this movie.
Don't worry.
It's not worth your money. There's so many other movies that are worth your money.
So at the end, there's no Koizilla, which, is the giant water monster, which I guess wasn't really a big deal for me. Well, what I saw from the movie, he's about to fuck the Fire Nation up, this giant tsunami wave. All right, I'm feeling it. I'm loving it. He did not annihilate the Fire Nation with a giant tsunami. He basically held it up and was like, now all of you run away. And now I'm going to make the tsunami fall. It
was like a bad April Fool's joke.
Yeah.
It was like, hey guys, I'm going to totally annihilate it. Oh, I'm going to pull it back now. Okay, I'm just kidding, everybody. Just kidding.
I could if I wanted to. No, obviously he can't, because if it's the Avatar's duty not to hurt people, then he's never going to, and people are going to take advantage of that.
Which in the series is the exact opposite of what they were trying to show, because in the end, everyone was telling him you have to kill the Fire Lord. It was his destiny in order to bring peace.
I think what they tried to do in the series, we have Aang, where he doesn't like to hurt people. But in the movie, they tried to relate that to every single Avatar is not supposed to hurt people.
Exactly.
And I just did not like it all.
Yeah, exactly. It was part of Aang's character for him to not want to hurt people, but forcing him not to hurt people is completely different.
Exactly. I think that it was that. It was the forcing him. It didn't make it work. And then, we see Aang is having Ong is having some problems throughout the entire movie. And we all of a sudden find out, it's because of his grieving. It didn't make sense at all whatsoever. It didn't, I wasn't catching any of it. I wasn't feeling any of it. I thought we resolved that after Katara was like, we love you. Me and Sokka will be your family,
And
I thought that
which was the most wooden acting I've ever seen in my life.
And you know what? Poor Nicola Peltz, because I felt like she could have done a good job. But
I don't know about that.
No, I mean, I don't know. M.
Night Shyamalan compared her to one of the actresses in.
No, he said, what he said was he hadn't seen an actor that good since Haley Osment.
What was he smoking?
Yeah, really. The first line in the movie was with Katara, and it was when she poured water on Sokka's head. And I said, all right, this is funny. They started off funny. She said, I'm so sorry. And she looked like she was having a good time, and then it was like, hey, guy. M. Night was basically like, all right, here's what's going to happen, producers. We're going to open this movie with a funny joke, and then we're going to shit on the audience.
Yeah, it's pretty much.
Take the smelliest... greenest, most liquidy diarrhea crap and just pour it on the audience.
Now, you may be thinking that this is just two fanboys of the show whining and bitching about how they changed some things about the series. No, even by itself, this movie does not work.
Yeah, it really doesn't. Look, I feel as if I did not watch the series now, when I'm obsessed with the series, I am obsessed, I would have had no idea what that movie was.
Yeah, it doesn't know whether it wants to pander to new people who are just being introduced to The Last Airbender, or does it want to pander to the fans of the original series. It can't make up its mind.
I think he wanted it to pander, but he was so, unsure that he just made that, and it really sucked. The thing that bothered me about the movie is its overwhelming amount of potential, but he did not use any of that potential, and that's what pissed me off.